I'm calling for the meeting. Everybody please stand up for the salute to the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America
and which stands for
one
nation,
under God,
indivisible, liberty, justice for all. Thank you, everybody. Diane, would you kindly do the roll call, please?
Yes. Jason Kim.
Yes, ma'am.
Don Madison.
Yes.
Annie Esther Garcia. Stephanie Jang.
yes.
Rebecca Lee.
Yes.
Kevin Lynn.
One more time.
Thomas Matarazzo.
Here.
Yoon Jin.
Here.
Cindy.
Here.
Dr. Cirillo.
Here.
Mr. Choi.
Here.
Kevin Lim is here. His mic is muted, but he's here. I can see him. Diane.
And we also have Lala Gillis in the meeting tonight.
Oh, Mrs. Gillis.
He's in the top left.
I see.
Yep. And we have a nice guest in the top right. It's Mr. Wilcox.
Oh, Mr. Wilcox. Okay.
Steve. And statement. I think he wants you to do the statement.
Okay, the statement of presiding officer. Diane is not only prettier than me, but also she has a nice voice than me. So, Diane, would you like to make a statement for the presiding officer, please?
I would love to. In compliance with the Open Public Meetings Act, I hereby state that adequate notice of this special meeting has been provided to the public by a written notice dated January 19, 2021. The meeting has been emailed to all staff members, communicated to at least one of the board's designated newspapers, and filed with the Borough Clerk of Palisades Park.
Thank you. The next one is the report of the superintendent.
Thank you, Mr. Kim. Before I turn this over to our the auditor, Mr. Steve Wilcox, I do want to ask the board that in new business, you please consider a motion for the semi-annual submission of our student safety data submission. That will be in new business. I do want to recognize, in conjunction with the Borough of Palisades Park, we were recipients of a certificate of recognition with the first step level recognition for New Jersey's safe routes to school. So I thank everyone who partook in this, task, and thank the community of Palisades Park for their efforts. Finally, I am very happy to inform all that a student of Palisades Park High School, Solomon Son, has been chosen by the VFW Post as the winner of the Voice of Democracy. His essay actually was the recipient and winner of the district, went on to the state level with a potential opportunity to be honoring the state of New Jersey in Washington, D.C. So I will be in attendance with Kevin on February 2nd for this beautiful ceremony. I congratulate him and his family on the recognition. At this point, I would like to welcome and thank Mr. Wilcox for joining us tonight. I know there is annually an audit, and I ask that he please give his findings and or any recommendations to the board.
Thank you, Dr. Cirillo, and good evening, everybody. It's hard to imagine a whole year's passed, but what a year it's been. I'm happy to tell you that your audit for the year ended June 30, 2020, we again have rendered an unqualified opinion or a clean opinion on the financial statements of the Palisades Park Board of Ed for that fiscal year. You should have received copies of the report and the management report. We like to refer to them as the big report and the little report. The little report's the one that everybody wants to look at because that's the one that has the findings. There were 8 findings that came out of the audit for the year ended June 2020. none of which were financial driven. They all had to do with compliance issues. Again, none of which would be considered material to the operation of the school board or the internal control of the school board. Just things that, the state, and I've made this speech many times over the years, they make this not only a financial audit, but they also make it a compliance audit. And when you're looking at compliance, if there's one exception, you have no choice, but you have to report it as a finding. So I will tell you that of the 8 findings, I know they're working on a corrective action plan, and again, none of which would be considered material to the audit or the financial statements. And indeed, there were no findings on the financial statements. I'd like to thank the administration for their assistance. This was quite a year to do audits when nobody was open and everybody was working remotely. I'd like to thank Dr. Cirillo and the board staff for being amenable to packing things in boxes so that my staff could back their cars up literally to the garage and put the boxes in the trunk and take them home and continue to work remotely during this pandemic. It's been something. And with that, I would take any questions from the board if there were any.
Any board member have any question? Okay, I guess that's it then. Thank you very much for your auditing independently for us. And I heard that our corrective action plan, number of things that we need to do correct, has been reduced compared to last few years, right? So that's good.
Yes, again, there's human error that enters into this, and again, when you look at financial issues, you always look at what's material to the financial statements as a whole. When you're dealing with compliance, and the state is very specific that if there's one exception, no matter how minuscule it is, it's a finding. It has to be reported. So again, I tell you that no findings on the financial statements. All the findings had to do with compliance, and it's, yes, the findings are less than they have been in previous years, and we're moving in the right direction.
Mr. Wilcox, if I may, I thank you and your team as well. I appreciate their efforts. I want to recognize, although she's no longer with us, Ms. Bezefsky for her efforts in allowing for such work to be performed, and the whole board office. Additionally, I thank Lala Gillis and our team of assistants that have as well not only accepted this audit, but we have a corrective action plan already in place as part of our resolution number 1 under finance. So I thank everyone for their efforts, and we are already working at reducing and eliminating any and all issues that may have existed.
Very good, thank you. And again, thanks to all the staff members who've been working hard to help out these particular matters. Okay. Now, next one is a report of our board of president. I don't have nothing to report this time.
Good night, everybody.
Thank you, Steve.
Take
Okay,
care.
thank you, Mr. Wilcox.
Thank you.
Now, next one is the report of the board attorney.
Thank you, Mr. President. Just briefly, along with committee appointments, based upon the President's request, I will be circulating a memo to all the board members outlining roles and responsibilities of board members, the administration, and along with committee personnel as well too. So that will be coming out to the board very shortly. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. I request to our attorney that to refresh our memory and to educate us as a board member and as well as the committee member. Maybe it's a good idea that at the beginning of the year that we educate ourselves one more time. So you'll probably get an email from our attorney about some articles and statements and bylaws and so on and so on of the role for the board members and also role of the committee members. Okay. Thank you. Minute approval. And there is no minutes in this time. Now, so next one is the committee report. Finance, Mr. Medasich.
Before you, you have 7 resolutions. I know they had trouble sending us the resolutions, but we got it in time. And there's 8 resolutions. I'm sorry, I take that back. 8 resolutions.
That's right. Yeah, I thought it was 8. Yeah.
And I move on a consent agenda.
Anybody like to make a motion as a consent agenda of these 8 items?
I make a motion.
Mr. Matisic?
Second.
Folks, Mr. Matisic made the motion on consent. We need a second, please.
Okay.
Second.
Ms. Min second.
Yoon Min.
Roll call, please.
Any discussion, Mr. Kim?
Sorry, any discussion? Then roll call, please.
Jason Kim,
Yes.
Tom Madison.
Yes.
Is Annie Esca here?
Yes, she's here.
Annie Esca Garcia,
Yes.
Stephanie Jang,
Yes.
Becca Lee, Kevin Lim,
Yes.
Thomas Matarazzo,
Yes.
Lynn,
Yes.
Timothy Jang.
Yes.
Okay, the next is buildings and grounds. Ms. Stephanie Jang?
Yes, we have 3 agenda, and I'd like to make a motion to make the consent agenda.
I'll second it.
Roll call, discussion first. Any discussion? Okay, then roll call, please.
I'm sorry, I just had a quick question on the buildings in terms of, I just wanted, you mentioned with the second paragraph that there are protocols being put in place. Is that being monitored by the committee or by staff, or how does that work to make sure that the protocols are being followed?
With regard to which resolution, Ms. Garcia?
With regard to the resolution for number 2, so the second resolution.
Yes, so there is district personnel. Anytime our buildings are used by outsiders, they must adhere to our district policies and procedures, and we will have personnel to ensure that that is the case.
Okay, thank you.
Including their certificate of insurance and any of our liability. Thank you, Mr. Choi. That requires it. Thank you, Ms. Garcia.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Any other discussion? Any other question or discussion? Okay, roll call, please, Diane.
Jason Kim,
Yes.
Tom Madison.
Yes.
Annie Esca Garcia,
Yes.
Stephanie Jang,
Yes.
Becca Lee,
Yes.
Kevin Lim,
Yes.
Thomas Matarazzo, Yoon Min,
Yes.
and Timothy Yang.
Yes.
Okay, the next one is personnel. Dr. Mazzarazo, please.
Yes, before you, you have 6 resolutions. I did not get an opportunity to speak to Dr. Cirillo about them, and I do have a question. Maybe we should hold this and go into closed person run, and then we could come back out.
We can,
Okay.
unless, what is your question relative to, Dr. Matarazzo, may I ask?
On the co-curricula, I wanted to.
Okay, so, and I spoke to Mr. Kim this morning. The reason we did not meet, the committee appointments were yet to be board approved or resolved. I did go over all resolutions, with Mr. Kim. And until the appointments were made at this evening's meeting, I was advised that there was no need to have those subcommittee meetings.
Okay. Well, then we can meet. We can go into close and talk about it then.
So we will have to send a separate link to only the board members for closed session at this point. I would ask every other member of the public to please remain where you are. But if we are going to close, then that's the direction of the board. We would need a motion for that.
I'd like to move that we go into closed personnel. We don't have to do it right now. We can go through the other committees if you want. It doesn't matter to me.
Mr. Choi?
Yeah, you can move on to other, committee, curriculum negotiations, finish that, and we could, go to closed session on item number 10 in the agenda.
So, Mr. Kim, the advice of Mr. Choi, I'm not sure if you heard it, was to move on to the other committee reports.
Sure.
We go back to personnel in the
Okay.
event to leave.
Okay, but is Dr. Majorajo prone to have a closed session, right?
Yes, I made a resolution.
Anybody second? Do we need a second?
Yes.
But
No.
we're not doing personnel. Sounds like we're skipping
So we're
personnel.
tabling personnel and going on, all right.
To clarify, we would have to suspend the agenda to go into close, to reissue, to touch upon personnel again, come back to vote on.
So
Are we continuing with the meeting?
Yeah.
Okay, we will continue. We are going to suspend personnel at this point.
okay,
Visit it after the other committee reports.
okay, good. Curriculum, Mr. Yang, Timothy Yang.
There's no report at this time.
Thank you. Negotiation, Stephanie Jang.
There's no report at this time.
Okay, thank you. Policy, Timothy Yang.
There is no report at this time.
Okay. PTA, SA liaison, Ms. Min.
Yeah, there is no report at this time too.
Okay, thank you. Student activity, Rebecca Lee.
There is one resolution for Model UN conference virtually. I move to consent agenda.
I'll second it.
Discussion. Any discussion?
I do have a question in terms of the cost per student. Is there a online link, or how are students able to make that happen?
That is a great question. Did we get some guidance on that or clarification this afternoon?
No, because I don't even know what that $5.
Yeah,
There's no transportation.
There is no transportation, clearly, only online. We are awaiting, and I wanted to get this approved because of the timing of the 4th and the 5th. And we wouldn't be able to do this at next month's meeting. We are awaiting some clarification on why a cost so many of these events are free of charge. I'm not sure if Mr. Mascolo is on this call. He may be able to provide me with some clarification. Mr. James Mascolo, are you on the call? If you are, you can unmute and provide a little clearer clarification. Is Mr. Andrew Garcia, Mr. Freddie Nunez, or Ms. Voorhees available? Yeah, we did reach out today, Ms. Garcia, to provide a little bit of clarification on that. Okay, thank you, Ms. Montemuro.
That's what I was told.
Ms. Montemuro said it could be that it is an entry fee for each child, but I will definitely find out more specifically as to why there is a fee.
I
Okay.
meant to that, I did hear that there is a registration fee, and I believe that they have a treasury department, they have the money there, so the students are not laying any money out of their pocket.
Oh, okay.
It's coming out of the account.
The actual
Okay.
slip did speak to $5 per student, which is why it's written as such. So the permission slip
Understood.
error. We will provide clarification on this.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. So who
We have-
seconded?
I'll second it.
We
Okay.
I can. Am I allowed to, Mr. Joy?
We had Rebecca motion. We had Stephanie second this.
Oh, Stephanie seconded. Okay, good. Then any other discussion about this issue? Then roll call, please.
Jason Kemp,
Yes.
John Madison,
Yes.
Annie Garcia,
Yes.
Stephanie Jang,
Yes.
Bethel Lee,
Yes.
Kevin Lynn,
Yes.
Thomas Matarazzo,
Yes.
Min, Yoon Min,
Yes,
Timothy,
Yes.
Thank you. Any report from the calendar and the food service? Ms. Min?
Oh, okay. There is no report at this time.
Okay, very good, thank you. Next one is New Jersey School Board liaison, Dr. Mazzaraggio.
Just that everybody's been getting notification from the New Jersey school boards, and if you want to attend any of their meetings, they list it on their website.
Okay, very good, thank you. Now, Doctor, do we continue with the personnel, or should we go to next one?
So it's Dr. Matarazzo's motion to suspend the agenda, go into closed personnel at this time. We need a second.
I will second.
Manieska, was that on your? Okay.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Discussion, vote.
Roll call, Jason?
Yeah, roll call, please.
Okay, so this is to suspend the agenda and go into closed session. Jason Kim,
I guess yes.
John Manson,
Yes.
Manieska Garcia,
Yes.
Bethany Jang,
Yes.
Rebecca Lee,
Yes.
Kevin Lim,
Yes. 4.
Matarazzo,
Yes.
Get a breakout.
Yoon Min,
Yes.
Timothy Yang.
Yes.
Okay.
So for the board members, at this point, we're gonna go into closed session. Actually, because we're on Zoom, we can do breakout rooms as well. So you're gonna get a separate link for a breakout room, momentarily. Sit tight. If everyone else, tight, hopefully this does not take too long.
And if you could please, for Manieska Garcia, send it to my Pal Park account because I won't be able to access my work email and stay on the call. Thank you.